All right. And as always, thank you so much for being here tonight. Let's get started in a seated posture. So I'll give you the option if you want to do butterfly, making this a symmetrical pose in the low half, but know that if that's a little harder to sustain in your body, or if it feels like it's hard to sit up tall, then just take a crisscross leg here. And of course you can switch it out at any moment, switching sides. But if it feels okay here, start to open the hips straight away. Your hands might rest on your thighs, palms up or palms down. Eyes either softly closed, or if you prefer to have them open, just let them rest somewhere fixed. Find a little additional height in your spine. Grow a little bit through the crown of your head. Maybe you lean back a bit if you feel like you're pitched forward slightly. Let it also be relatively comfortable here. Start to feel your breath here in this first posture. And take several rounds, just letting ourselves fully get here. Letting our thoughts, emotions, everything join us here, join the physical body here on the mat. Sometimes it takes a bit for it all to come together. Notice if maybe your posture slumped forward a bit, sitting up tall, maybe making that switch in the legs. If you need to find a little bit of change. And as we're breathing here, arriving to the practice, wanted to share a little something with y'all. So I've talked before about the yamas and the niyamas of the yoga teachings, the ancient yoga teachings. And basically these are our morals, our guidelines that we can guide not only our yoga practice on the mat, but our life practice off the mat. And so today I was practicing aparigraha, which is one of my favorite of the yamas. And what it means is non-attachment. And so on a very fundamental level, I started purging a lot of things in my house, a lot of physical, material belongings. And that's a very basic manifestation of aparigraha. It's not hanging on to stuff that you don't need. Keep your breath going. And how that can translate to our yoga practice in other areas of our lives is, you know, we don't just hold on to physical stuff. We hang on to a lot of emotional things, a lot of ideas. We get very set in patterns, samskaras. And these former patterns, or these patterns from our past, can really take over and shape how we experience the present. So with the parigraha, with this non-attachment, this non-hoarding, we do our best to let go of what has already been and experience every moment as it's happening. So on the mat, going back to a bit of a more fundamental level, if the pose, if you experienced it one way at a different time, giving yourself a chance to experience everything today as your body is on this mat tonight. So let's take a few additional breaths. And this last round, before we move, let's sync up our breath. So empty your air out here. And take a nice big breath in through your nose. And open your mouth, sigh out your breath. Maybe with that exhalation, you release any expectations of your practice, landing here in this moment. And then let your breath return to its rhythm as you find some movement. And maybe that involves a little twist side to side, or a lifting of the arms, a straightening of the legs. Maybe you hit play on that playlist. That's what I just did there. And just let your movement feel releasing. I really like to talk about the yamas and niyamas, so we ended up being there for a little longer than anticipated. And then once you're ready, let's release the feet in front of you, about 1.5 feet, 2 feet out, soles of the feet nice and flat, hanging on behind your knees or maybe front of the shins. And then on an inhale, lift your heart up, bring it through your biceps, lift your chin. Think a cat spine, so we're finding a little flexion here. And then exhale as you round back, coming up and over those sit bones, leaning back. We're hanging on, so go until your arms are straight. Come back up to seated, lift the heart on your breath in. And exhale, round it back. Tuck the chin in, tuck the tail. I'm going to turn to the side here. Lift up again, breath in, and release it back, breath out. Take another round here. It's just a seated cat and cow. Good, now let's release back up to a neutral spine. Find your sitting bones here. And then hang on to the backs of your thighs if you had the fronts of your shins. Lean back with a straight spine this time, and pick the toes up, coming into a Navasana, boat pose. So we're going to fire up that core. You know, we're early moments here in our practice, so you can just keep hanging onto your legs unless you're feeling like releasing the arms. If you want to straighten your legs, you can. I'm going to keep my shins parallel to the floor here. Keep breathing, keep the chest lifted. One more breath. Good, then let the feet land. And let's come up to a standing forward fold. So keep the feet hip width or more distance apart. Lift your tailbone here and let your crown and your chest really drop down. Soften your knees. If you like ragdoll, you can take it, or you can keep those hands grounded as you sway the torso. Maybe shake your head. Just give yourself a moment to release here for the spine to decompress. The spine, just like our mind, it's used to a certain way of being, and it's used to being upright. So when we come upside down like this, it takes a couple moments for all our systems to feel like it's okay to just drop in here. And then let your fingertips come down to the mat. Let your feet come together, and we'll rise up to stand. Big breath in. Let's interlace the hands at the top. Mine are right out of view, but take kind of a steepling of your hands, index fingers out. Reach up and out of your waist. Exhale, take it over to your right. Little crescent moon side bend. Inhale, come back to center, maybe lean back. And exhale, bend left. Inhale, come back through the center. Release your grip, lean back, send your thighs forward, and exhale, bow. Take a lift halfway. Exhale as you fold. Step the feet to the back of the mat, high plank position, and exhale, come into your downward facing dog. So there's so many things to think about in this one posture. Starting at your fingertips, push those finger pads into the mat. Take a little pressure off of the wrists by articulating into those fingers. And then let your shoulders come away from your ears. Rib cage pressing back to the thighs. Knees can be softly or generously bent. Heels getting heavy toward the earth. Breath strong. If you want to take a little walking of the dog, bending into one knee at a time, go for it here. Good, now let's come back to center, back to stillness in this dog. Know that if this ever gets to be too much in your wrists, your shoulders, you can always come to tabletop position. Let's rise up high on the toes, breath in. Bend the knees, exhale, come back up to your forward fold. Let's inhale, take a lift halfway, flatten the spine, exhale, fold. Soften the knees, rise up to stand. Let's take those crescent moon side bends, starting right. Exhale, press your left foot into the mat, bump that left hip out, come back through the middle. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale, come back to center, and exhale, let it go, bow. Inhale, come into your halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. This time, if you are looking for a Chaturanga Dandasana at this point, you can lower, exhaling, inhale into your back bend, cobra upward, exhale, downward facing dog. As we take a few breaths here, coming back to that intention or a parigraha. Sometimes when it comes to something like a vinyasa, the chaturanga, we're used to skipping it all the time, or we're used to doing it every single time.
So giving yourself that permission to change up your practice, whatever that means. Take another breath here. Let it out. Let's inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend the knees. Come forward, forward fold. Halfway lift as you inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, we can take those side bends, or maybe you add in something different here. We're gonna come one more time through this little sun A sequence. And folding on the exhale, moving with your breath. You might not be totally in sync with me, that's okay. Lifting half inhale, exhale, coming back. Lowering or not. And we meet in downward facing dog. Breathe, breathe. One more breath here. Good, now let your right heel lift up, hip height. On the exhale, let your left heel get a little heavier toward the mat. Feel all those muscles along the back of your left leg, finding some length and some sensation. On your next inhale, rise up on those left toes. Exhale, right knee hugs away into the chest. Plant that foot between the hands, coming into a low lunge. On your inhale, take your right arm up to the sky, twisting open. Pause here. Keep breathing. Take another breath in. Exhale, close that arm down. Inhale, take your left arm high. Little different twist here. My left heel is still lifted. This is almost more like a deep side angle here. Keep your breath going. Maybe your gaze is up toward that left thumb. Maybe not. Maybe your left knee is down. All good. And then close your left hand down to the mat. Let's step the left foot up to the right, coming into a forward fold. Take a lift halfway. Fold as you exhale. Inhale to rise up to stand. Arms sweep high. And exhale, find your Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink the hips back. Let the belly pull in, keeping your core strong. Shoulders plug back and down. Hands can always come to heart center if your shoulders are not loving this lifted arm. Breathe. Take another breath, grow long. And exhale, let it go. Bow forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Forward fold, exhale. Stepping back, making your way to your downward facing dog. Through that push up or editing that out. On an inhale, let your left heel lift up, height of the hip only. Exhale, right heel gets a little heavier. Feel that sensation light up. Stay here for a breath. Inhale, come up high on those right toes and hinge forward. Knee draws in, plant that foot. Left foot bent between the hands. Low lunge. Inhale, take your left arm high, twisting open. Remember your right knee can drop down to the mat. It's all good. Breathe again here. Exhale, close it down. Inhale as you lift your right arm up. Opening up through this right side, keeping your breath going. Inhale, get a little longer. Exhale, close the right hand down. Step the right foot up to the left, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Forward fold on your exhale. Inhale, rise up. And exhale back into a chair pose. Sink the hips low. Stay for a breath. And exhale, bow. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back. Taking your vinyasa, making your way to your dog. Inhale, let's lift the right heel. Exhale, bring the knee right into the chest. Plant that foot. Let's take this twist, one breath only. Exhale as you close the right hand down. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, close it down. And then we'll add on from here. So leading with the chest, come up with both arms. High crescent lunge. Sink and settle on your exhale. Bring your hands together here. Palms pressed together over the crown of your head. Drop your thumbs back to the nape of your neck. Feel your triceps open here. Lean back, lean your head back into your hands. Breathe here. Core nice and strong, protecting your low back. Next inhale, let your arms release. Come out of your back bend. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat. And step that left foot up to right. Inhale, lift halfway. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, chair pose. Hips back and down. Take a breath here. And exhale, fold. Let it go. Flatten the spine, extend the crown, inhale. Exhale, fold, stepping back. Making your way to your downward dog. Right away on the in-breath, heel lifts, left heel lifts. Knee into chest, exhale, plant the foot. Inhale, take your left arm high, twisting open. Exhale, left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, close. Inhale, both arms reach up, and we pause here with the breath. Take another breath in our high crescent lunge. Right heel is lifted. Hands come together. Exhale, drop the thumbs to your neck, and elbows are really hugging in. Lift up and out of your waist here as you lean back. Inhale, reach the arms high. And exhale, bow forward. Step the right foot up to the left. Pause here in your forward fold. Pedal your knees, shake your head. Anything you need right here. And let's let the feet come a little bit wider here. Let your left hand center. Lift your right arm high as the left knee bends. Twist open. Close that right arm down on an exhale. Inhale, left arm lifts. Close it back down, exhaling. Bring those feet toward the midline, soften the knees. Let's rise up to stand. Arms sweep up high, breath in. Exhale, take your hands into heart center. On an inhale, let's lift the left thigh, height of the hip. Pausing here. Take another breath here. On the exhale, extend your sole of the foot toward the front of your space. As you inhale, fold that leg back in, cross it over your right knee. Sit back in a one-legged chair. Feel this hip opening on the left side. Stay here. Or on an exhale, take a twist to your right. Maybe your elbow comes to the sole of that left foot. Maybe you wobble and be okay with that. Be okay with the wobbling. Come back out and stand up straight. Unravel this left leg, send it behind you, warrior three, tilting forward. Left leg, reaching back, hips square, toes pointing down at the mat. Breathe here. Good, now let's land the left toes, coming back for our crescent lunge. Let's reach the arms high, both feet on the ground. Take a breath here. And exhale as you open to your warrior two. Any adjustment of the feet that needs to happen, just let it happen. You've got the time here. Let's take the hands to the hips just momentarily here. Notice if there's any dipping forward of your right hip. Try to give that a little lift as this left hip presses down. You can also kind of gauge if your torso is leaning forward. Levelness in the pelvis should mean that we can be really pretty upright here in the torso. And then check that your right knee is stacked over that ankle. Keeping our joints happy here. And then let's turn the palms up. Let's inhale, straighten your right leg, lift the arms high. Exhale, sink back into your warrior two. Inhale, come up, both arms. Exhale, bend the right knee, warrior two. This time, straighten the legs, lift the arms up, turn your right toes in to face the same direction as the left toes, and exhale, let's bow forward. Prasarita, wide leg forward fold here. Find your way in. Maybe the fingers walk back through the hands. Maybe you're doing something else. Take a couple of really good breaths here. Now let the hands return back to center here. And let's walk the hands over toward the right foot. So both hands go over toward this right foot. Bend into your left knee, Skandasana lunge. But if you can, keep your right foot planted on the mat. And hands are walking over here, so we're getting a nice side body stretch in the left side. It doesn't have to be super deep. Make your breath deep though. Good, let's release back to center here. And then walk the hands all the way over toward the left foot this time. Pivot toward the back of your mat, come to the inside of your left foot for a lizard lunge. Now we've got a few breaths here. You can keep the back knee lifted. You can set it down. You can also come down in your elbows as well. Good, now let's come back up to straight arms. If you came down, lift that back knee and center your left foot between your hands. Step your right foot in and up quite a bit here. Lengthen into your left leg. A little micro bend in the knee, but that leg is mostly straight. And pyramid pose. We're folded over that left leg. Let's take a little inhale, halfway lift, come to fingertips. And exhale, bow. Really nice and rooted through the right heel. If you need a little bit more stretch in that front leg, lift the left toes toward your shin. And bring your left foot back down. Soften into your left knee as you pitch the weight forward. Hands coming forward as well. Lift your right leg up for standing splits. So several things that we can pay attention to here or work on. If the hands are pretty far from your left foot, then just maybe see if they can come in. If you're looking up, see if you can drop the crown of the head down, taking the back bend out of it. If you're pretty close to your foot, maybe one hand leaves the ground, wraps around your ankle, maybe both. Maybe that's when you get wobbly again. Being okay with that wobble. Take another breath here, get long through the right leg, and exhale, close your right foot down behind the left. So crisscross at your ankles, a little soft bend in the knees, baby toes are together. And then walk your hands over toward this left edge of your mat. If you've got a block, it might come in handy here. And then let's take this over toward the other side, a little counter. And then come back to your center, leaving your feet crossed. If possible, let's pull the belly in and rise up to stand. See what happens, something a little different. Arms reach up. Exhale your hands into your heart center. Uncross your feet. Shake everything out, let everything go here. Come back to your Tadasana here, your Samasthiti, hands at heart. Take a couple breaths, recentering, refocusing. What else can we let go of here on the mat? Maybe perfectionist tendencies. I can't be the only one that has those on this mat. Take another breath, let it out. And let's shift the weight over to the left foot as we lift the right thigh. Right knee comes up. Balancing here. Pull your low belly muscles in. Relax your shoulders. Breathe in here. Exhale, lengthen that leg. Inhale, fold it back in, cross your ankle over your left knee, sink back. Coming into this funky chair. Opening the hip, welcoming that good sensation here. If it's good, if it hurts, change something about the pose. We don't want pain. Now let's stand up tall, letting go of that left leg without putting the right foot down, hinging forward, coming into our warrior three, palms pressing at heart. Right leg lengthening, chest still a little bit lifted here. Think of dialing your right pinky toe down to keep that hip close. And then carefully start to land those right toes on the mat, lifting up into our high crescent lunge. Taking a couple breaths here, sinking, settling. Inhale, grow nice and long. And exhale, let's open up to our warrior two. Adjusting the stance, adjusting anything you need to here. Let's come back for the hips with our hands.
I like to do this every once in a while. And a slight lift if you need it on that left hip, pressing the right one down. Just trying to achieve that levelness. Let's reach the arms back long, awareness in the left knee. Is it stacked over the ankle? Are your arms nice and energetic? Shoulders relaxed. Let's turn the palms up. On an inhale, lifting, straightening the left leg. Exhale, rebend. Keeping the torso nice and upright, lifting high. Exhale. Move with your breath. And then this time, we stay up. We turn the left toes forward. And option here, this time if you want to interlace your hands at the tailbone, taking a breath as you open the chest. And exhale as we bow with this bind. This usually feels pretty good in the shoulders. If it's not working for you though, you can change it, take something else. Allowing yourself to really drop in here, wherever you are, wherever you ended up. Letting go of tension. Coming back into your breath. Let your hands release to the mat when you're ready. And let's see, which way do we need to go? Walk the hands over toward the left foot this time. So you can already begin to feel that length along the right side of the rib cage. And then lunge into your right knee to enhance that and also stretch this inner thigh. Left foot is still planted. Usually we flex our toes up in a Skandasana side lunge. So we're doing a little different variety here. Try to keep that right knee tracking over the right toes, just for that joint stability. Good, and then release this back to your middle. Walk the hands all the way over to the right as you pivot forward, coming to the inside of that right foot. Lizard lunge. Go to your place here in this lizard, your depth, whatever that means. And get a few more breaths. And as we begin to lift back up, let's center the right foot, come off of your knee. If you came down in the back, and step that left foot in and up. Lengthen through your right leg for pyramid pose. Drop your chest, and then we'll take that little halfway lift, extending, and exhale, folding in. Flexion in the right toes if you need a little bit more here. Just another breath or so more. And coming forward, soft bend, maybe a big bend in this right knee as you launch your left leg up for standing splits. See where you are. See where you may want to travel to, if anywhere. Playing with balance, focusing on dropping
your head a little heavier toward your shin. Take another big breath, grow long through those left toes, and exhale, crisscross your left leg behind your right. And this time we'll travel over toward the right side of the mat. It's a little twisted root, IT band, lovely stretch. Block if it helps you access a bit better here. And then let's take a counter over to the left. Good, come back to the center. Keeping the legs crossed. Soften the knees, press into your feet, pull your belly in to rise up to stand, arms lift. And then from here, keep your legs crossed. Take your arms into eagle, right under left. Your right leg is already over your left, so sink back, move the cross up toward your thighs, and sink your hips back in this full eagle pose. Lift your elbows. Lift your low belly muscles. One more breath. And release. Uncross your legs, release your arms. Sweep the arms up high, breath in. And exhale, wrap the left arm under the right. Eagle on the other side. Left leg wraps over the right, sink back. Just adding a little additional balance here at the end of our sequence. Lovely opening through the upper back and shoulders with these eagle arms. Take one more breath. Beautiful. Unravel your arms, unravel your legs, sweep the arms high. And exhale, bow forward. Option here for another vinyasa if you'd like to take a sun A here, halfway lifting, or you can chill in forward fold. We'll meet you back there. And if you landed with me in down dog, let's lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. Maybe you hop the feet right up into a malasana, yogi squat, stepping the feet wide, or just step the feet up and then widen them out. So this is our garland pose, our deep yogi squat, knees opening, elbows leveraging that a little bit here, chest lifting. Stay right here, or open that right arm out at a diagonal, lift the left arm high. Stay here for 2 breaths. On the exhale of that second breath, come back to center, and then open left arm at a diagonal, plant that hand on the floor, open the right arm, twist. Beautiful, come back to center. Plant the hands, lift the hips up, straighten the legs, sway your hips side to side here, sway your head. Bring those feet back in. With your hands planted on the mat, lift your heels up here. You might come onto your fingertips here, kind of spider hands here. Lifting the heels, core is strong, and then start to fold your legs in, bending your knees, taking your heels, taking your glutes down to your heels. So coming into a balance here. Once your buns are all the way down, lift your chest. Hands might come to heart center. And then reach your arms forward, parallel to the mat, and sit down on the mat. Let's take a couple of those rounds of seated cat-cow. So lift the chest, breath in. Exhale, round the spine back. Round it way back, let it feel good. Let's do one more here. Good, now let's come back up through center here. You might guess what's coming here. We're coming into another round of our boat pose. So grab your thighs, lift your shins, lift your chest. Maybe your hands are a little bit more willing to release this time. Breathing. Keep that chest up. Take another breath here. And exhale, lower your waistband down. Heels, shoulders still lifted. Low boat. Breathe. One more. And release it all the way down to the mat. Stretch it out. Full body stretch. And as we're here in this nice long stretch, let's leave the hips where they are. Take your feet to the bottom right corner of the mat. Left ankle crosses over the right. And then take your hands, maybe pick up your shoulders and move everything over to the right upper corner here. So banana pose. Nice, gentle side body stretch here. If you need a little bit more, you might move your hips slightly over to the left to increase that curve of your body. And now let's move everything back to center. Hips are still there. And then take your feet over to the left side. Right ankle can cross over the left. Maybe picking up your shoulders and upper body going toward that upper left. Now let's release this. Keep your left foot where it is and open your right foot really wide over to the right. Let's take a recline star pose here. Just take a few breaths here. Allow everything to neutralize. Letting your breath steady. And let's bring the legs in, bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Arms by your sides. And rising up on an inhale into a bridge pose. So hips lifting, feet and knees are hip width distance. Your shoulders might tuck under your body a little bit more. Hands could interlace. Really opening the chest here. Deep breaths. Pressing into all four corners of your feet here. Another breath. And release it down. Let your feet go wide, knees come in. Windshield wipe side to side here. And hug your knees into your center. Let's draw some little circles in each direction. Let's take a couple rounds each way. And allow your right leg to wrap over the left, crossing at the thighs like eagle legs, and reaching up for your feet, your ankles, pulling them in toward opposite hips, finding a reclined shoelace pose. Just a few breaths here. Feeling that nice outer hip sensation. And go ahead and release the feet. Open the arms out wide. Breath in. On the exhale, knees drop to your left. Eagle twist. You can turn your gaze over to the right. We'll come back to center when you're ready. Switching the cross of your legs, left over right this time. Reaching up, not straining, but wherever your hands reach, grab those ankles, shins, feet, and gently draw them in. As you're set and on a breath in, release your feet, open the arms. Exhale, take the knees to the right. Turning the gaze to the left. Release whenever you're ready. You might release right to your Shavasana, or if there's something in between, a little stop you need to make, please honor that. Maybe you go back for that big starfish-esque posture here, taking up a little more space than you might be used to taking in this final rest. It's been a minute since most of us have been in a studio, but sometimes we're afraid to take up a little too much space, whether we're afraid of hitting our neighbor or we're just accustomed to that in life, fitting into a certain little box, figurative or the literal rectangle of this yoga mat. So let yourself expand. And let yourself decompress as your body finds rest. Take just as much time here as you would like to take to fully integrate your practice. If you need longer, know you can take it. When you're ready for movement, start to find it. Let your breath deepen. And in your time, just make your way onto either side of your body, coming into a fetal pose. Finding some gratitude right here as you take a couple of breaths, for making your way to your mat tonight, for showing up. And maybe for letting go of a few things here, even one thing that is no longer serving you. Let's see if we can take that into our rest of the week ahead in some shape or form. Pressing up to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. And let's open up our arms nice and wide. Take a breath in as you lift your arms, lift your gaze up. Take an open mouth exhale as the thumbs make their way to your heart center. Let's take one more breath like that in the name of our aparigraha, our non-attachment, our letting go. Breath in through the nose. Deep sigh out, let it go. Thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Have a wonderful week ahead. Namaste. Thank you all so much.